Hello and welcome to the Armchair Pundits Manchester United post-match review show. Yep, United at home against Brighton, 6 goals at Old Trafford. An exciting game to say the least, but I'm smiling, so you already know how this one ends up. But before I get into this, I want to make sure everyone on here subscribes. You follow us on all our platforms. That's X, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, and obviously YouTube. And I want you to click the subscribe button and make sure you click like. So yeah, let's get into this. It was an exciting game in the end, but a bit of a nervy one to walk into. I think the hoodoo of Danny Welbeck starting up top for Brighton made me wonder, is he going to score again at Old Trafford? Is he likely to score again at Old Trafford? I'm sure he's scored in the last 2 or 3 times that we've played them. And in our last 5 matches, we haven't performed the greatest against Brighton. They've definitely come on top with 3 or 4 of those being wins for them. And I know that we struggle to get a result playing Brighton at home. However, the Amorim train has come in on the back of a back-to-back win, the last one being against Liverpool. So I was hoping that this could be something special. Why not get 3 wins on a bounce? So let's just see the way this one rolled out. Before I get started, as I always do every week, I want to give you guys the lineup. Starting strong with Lemens, and I say that because he's come in, he's had 2 great performances, and I was hoping for a third at home at OT. His first one at Old Trafford being a clean sheet, so well done him. We're going to go with a trusted back 3 of Euro on the right side of the centre-backs, Shaw on the left side of the centre-backs, and good old faithful De Ligt central. So I think we're becoming more familiar with these back 3. And I'd argue that Amorim feels quite comfortable and confident that these guys will be probably long-standing in the back 3 of his 3-4-3 formation. We've gone for the wide positions of Diallo and Dallo, 2 deep-line midfielders with Fernandes and Casemiro, and then the 3 up top being Cunha, Mbeumo and Šeško. Now, for me, I'm a strong believer in squad rotation. So, you know, those that had great games last week, arguably they're fighting for places in the week and fitness. And, you know, you tailor your squad to what you see performance-wise and also fitness-wise in the week. So, well done, Amorim, for a decent, well, an arguably very, very good selection. So the game starts out, and I think the last couple of pods that I've had, I've spoken about the way that we started games, that we get a good few chances in the beginning, and I don't feel like we take advantage of it. And that almost puts us on the back foot. It almost starts infecting the rest of the team or the rest of the squad with, you know, the anxiety side of things. And I really want to dispel that by getting an opportunity, burying it, and then we build. So within the first half hour, I think United had a decent opportunity down the right with Mbeumo and Ahmad link up and creating a nice opportunity for Bruno, who tried to do a flick header to the bottom left-hand side of Verbruggen's post, but he just went wide. If I remember rightly, Welbeck also had a chance not too long after that. He was free as a bird in the middle of the box. They've cut it back for him, and he's shot first time into Lemem's hand, and he saved that quite comfortably. So there was a little bit of end-to-end stuff going on. But for me, when I was looking at the squad, I could really see that the right-hand side was going to be a problem for Brighton, because the link-up with Mbeumo and Diallo was just, it was a pleasure to see, honestly. And I think the last game I watched them playing together was Sunderland. And again, they were exceptional in that game too. I feel like that right-hand side is definitely going to be something that's really going to kill teams off, because between Mbeumo and Diallo, their first touch is like chocolate mousse, as my Moroccan friends would say. Mousse ou chocolat. Like, honestly, it's so on point. And when you have those players that will stretch the game, and you could go route one and they'll bring the ball down comfortably, and your players that are under or overlapping on getting into the box have a lot of time, because you know that these boys can handle themselves. It just makes the game feel way more like it's in your control, if you're with me. But anyway, just going off there on a tangent a little bit. Yeah, we again came down the right-hand side, and between Casemiro, Mbeumo and Diallo, and some really neat play in the middle from Bruno and Kaz, we've managed to create an opportunity where Brighton's players are all bundled in front of their box. I think it is Belieber that makes a mistake and gets the ball caught under his feet. Casemiro manages to retrieve it, passes the ball to Cunha, who's on the edge and takes a shot at goal to score his first United goal at Old Trafford. And I was happy to see it. To be honest, Cunha's last 2 or 3 games, he's been exceptional. And I feel like he more than well deserves a goal to get him up and running and get his Man United campaign fully underway. So it was a nice taken goal from outside the box. He bent it round the players. I think he shot through Dunk's legs and bent it around the post to beat Verbrongen in goal. Great well taken goal. Now from that, I could see that United were galvanised by that. And I felt like we would probably get another opportunity because immediately after kickoff, United were pressing high. We were cutting out balls where Brighton were trying to break the lines. And Bruno was almost sitting. He was almost sitting in a 10 row alongside Cunha and Mbeumo with Šeško up high. And then you had Casemiro just behind. So we were quite high, to be quite honest with you. But it worked to our benefit. We won the ball up high again. The ball breaks out to Casemiro in the middle. He has a little look, shifts it onto his right. Oste hit the shot from probably 20, 30 yards out. It deflects off a defender and sends Verbrongen the wrong way. 2-0 United. And honestly, we look comfortable with our 2-0. I feel, like walking into this game also, you kind of feel to yourself, in the centre midfield, you're probably going to face a believer that really wanted to go to United in the summer. He's going to really put his best foot forward to try and, prove to everyone what he's got to offer. And he really didn't do that in the first half. To be honest, he didn't really do that in the entire game. But honestly, I'm so glad that Casemiro didn't get caught out in possession too often with the likes of Belieber sniffing around him, and even Minter, because he was having a good go at our fullbacks today in Shaw and Dalot. We took that 2-0 lead into half time. To be honest, Brighton didn't have much. They didn't have much goals at goal. But what I would say, with the corners that they did have and the free kicks that came into the box, Lemem's made it quite clear whose area it belonged to. He'll come out and claim very early, safe hands, no juggling the ball, quite assured when he's coming to collect the ball and confident, which I love to see in a keeper. And third match starting for United, it was brilliant to see. And second time at OT. So we went into the break and we come out and I wanted more of the same. I was hungry for more of the same, to be honest with you. We started out the second half at a little bit of a lesser tempo, in my opinion. It looks like we were just trying to secure things, keep possession, control the tempo. There was a couple of pops, tricks and flicks going on around the place. Obviously, Bruno's going to be involved. But that being said, we still didn't look like we would concede. We looked pretty solid at the back. Minter had a couple of opportunities where he was going at the fullback in Dalot and Shaw. But we came and we won those battles more often than not. And to be honest, there was an opportunity where Minter ran beyond the defenders. So yeah, coming into the second half, I was comfortable. Lemem's was coming out to claim the ball. The defence looked pretty solid. Our 1v1 battles were, United, I'd argue, that were on top throughout. And we had great coverage with our midfield and the deep line midfield and the forward line midfielders in Cunha and Mbeumo. So there was no stone left unturned. And if I'm honest, today, when we picked up the ball, or when Casemiro picked up the ball, you could see that he was very decisive in putting the ball forward, trying to break the lines, trying to give the ball to the likes of Diallo, trying to feed the ball to Cunha and get us on the front foot straight away. We look way more cohesive than we have done in the earlier stages of the league. And you would argue that we looked and gave glimpses of a classic United where, we control the game and we decide when we're going to score. We decide when we're going to allow you to attack. Them kind of way. But honestly, it took us probably 10 or 15 minutes in the second half to turn the screw again on Brighton. The ball gets popped into the Šeško. Great first touch from Šeško to lose his defender and feed the ball into Mbeumo, who gets the ball under control and smashes it bottom corner. Honestly, again, when you look at the opportunities that we've had in the earlier stages of the season, the likes of Mbeumo and the likes of Cunha coming in and struggling to find a target, and these boys are going on like they can't miss. Cunha had a couple of shots today where most of them were on target, and the keeper had to make a save. So rightly so, Mbeumo gets on the score sheet. That's his 4th goal for United in a United shirt. So a great campaign so far for him. You'd argue that goal there was giving you old school Mbeumo, but giving you the Mbeumo that we know and love. So at 3-0, me and myself, I'm thinking it's 60 minutes gone or so. Is he going to ring the changes, or would he keep things as they are? Because we looked very much in control. I thought the substitute ball comes up. He takes off Shaw, Diallo and Casemiro and brings on Heaven, Dorgu and Menu. Now, I don't have a problem in the substitutes being made, but I have a problem in how they impacted the game. And I feel like those changes at that time impacted the game negatively, to the point after the last change was made, Minter gets released. I say 1v1. Not really, but he gets released. He breaks the defensive line, and Dorgu is chasing him. Dorgu tries to pass the ball to one of the midfielders, and he makes a mistake. They feed the ball over the top to Minter. Minter's running in on goal almost. Dorgu's trying to get out of the way of him, and he slightly clips him. There were calls for red cards. Me personally, I thought it was a yellow because it was quite clear that Dorgu was slowing down and trying to get out of the way. Minter's touch took the ball away from him. So the only thing he could do was look for a slight little touch from Dorgu to go down to see if he could get an advantage. He got the free kick. Dorgu got a yellow. They're stepping up for a free kick. Now at 3-0, on the edge of the United box, we got a clean sheet. I'm already saying Lamens is getting a second clean sheet at Old Trafford in a row. Imagine that. What a great start to your United career. Welbeck steps up to take the free kick. I'm thinking, nah. He puts the ball down and he buries it. Puts the ball right over the wall and arguably in the centre of the goal. Should Lamens have done better? I'm going to say probably. But it was very well struck. So I said it at the beginning of the podcast. Danny Welbeck's Hoodoo on United and scoring at Old Trafford. It continues. He gets his goal. It's 3-1. After that goal, Brighton decide they're going to make another change. They're going to bring on one of their youngsters. And again, them bringing on one of their youngsters meant that we needed to get more legs on the pitch and fresher legs on the pitch. So we took off Cunha and we took off Šeško and brought on the likes of Xerxes and Ugarte. And I would say today that Šeško, he had a very good game today with link-up, movement, off the ball, and just all-around first touch. He was superb today. So he got a nice round of applause, and so did Cunha when they got off the pitch, and the rest of the players, but more so Šeško and Cunha, because they really put a shift out there. So we made our changes, and I felt like with Xerxes coming on, we were winning way more first balls in the air. He was controlling things a lot when the ball was close to him, and he even had a slight opportunity when the ball came into him, nutmegged the defender, and went to, I don't know if he was going to go for a shot or pass the ball out to Dalot, but it got bundled up and Brighton managed to get the ball off of him. But it's those little glimpses that I like to see from Xerxes. He really has the ability and I want to see more of it. But from what I'm hearing, he's not happy at being part of the squad rotation gang, and he potentially wants out in the summer. So watch this space on that. But yeah, 10 minutes after Xerxes comes on the pitch, we're defending a free kick and the ball gets fizzed in. The young substitute that came on for Brighton beats Xerxes to the ball, and Xerxes pretty much gets caught on his heels. He flicks the ball past Lamens, 3-2 Brighton. 7 minutes left on the board for injury time. I'm thinking, is this going to be 3-3? Are you for real? Nah, I wasn't thinking that, to be honest. At that point, I thought to myself, what the boys should do is pretty much get the ball, take it to the corner, old school, and run the clock down. Bruno wants to go for goal. Ugarte wants to do some reckless challenges in the middle. Heavens nearly took Minter out at one stage and won the ball completely though. So I was thinking the guys they're moving a little bit nervous, and I'm hoping that we don't do something naive defensively as we have done in the beginning of the season, and we've learnt from some of our mistakes. The ball gets given to Heaven at his feet. He sees Mbeumo making a run, and he sees Bruno. He fizzes the ball into Bruno. Bruno moves away from the ball. Nice dummy. And Mbeumo's curving his run. Takes the ball first touch. Bangs it. Top corner. 4-2 United. 6th minute in injury time. Game done. Set match. 4-2 at OT. That's 3 matches on the bounce. I called it last week. I knew we were going to beat Brighton today. I kind of felt it. It was in the air. Amorim is officially up and running on his Man United campaign. They were singing his name in the stands. And are currently sitting 4th place with 16 points. Same points as City, with City to play. And yeah, we look good for it. And finally, where we belong. So I'm going to go into the player ratings now with pleasure. And I think like after today's game, I do feel like these boys definitely put a name out there in all their positions and putting an Amorim to pick me for the next game. So we've got Lemems in goal. He gets us, for me, he's going to get a 7. I would have given him an 8, but for the first goal, I feel like he could have done better. Second goal, I don't think he could have done nothing with that. Euro, he had a good game. He didn't really get beaten on his, he didn't get beaten on his 1v1s. I'm going to give him a 7. De Ligt, he gets an 8. Shaw, I'm going to give Shaw a 7. Dalot, he's going to get a 6 from me because he didn't really do much for me today. Bruno, going to give him an 8. He was instrumental in the 4th and definitely galvanized the team today. And we had so much more creativity from him today, which was a pleasure to see. Casemiro with a goal, going to give him an 8. Cunha, first goal at OT, overall outstanding in performance, going to give him a 9. Mbeumo, he gets a 9 for me. Diallo, going to give Diallo a 8. Him and Mbeumo's link up on the right-hand side was superb today. And Seshko, I'm going to give him a 7. Do the substitutes now. So we got Heavens. I'm going to give Heaven a 7. He came on, didn't make any mistakes, in my opinion. And he got an assist in Mbeumo's 4th goal, his first brace for United. Dorgu, I'm going to give Dorgu a 6. Although he didn't play badly, I feel like he was a little bit rash in the yellow that he got for Minter when he was running in on goal. He could have easily have been sent off there, so that was a little bit naive. Enu, I'm going to give him a 7. I didn't think he really put a foot wrong coming onto the pitch. Garte and Xerxes will both get a 6 from me because, again, they didn't really affect the game when they came on, but they were all right. So to wrap it up, another week down. That's 8 games in. Man United got their back-to-back wins. We got 2 wins at OT. We're scoring with ease and we're going up the table. So who knows what's next? It's still tight up there. United are trucking away. And as I always say, we're always looking for the league. But right now, we're just looking for consistency. So it's your boy Monts. Hopefully I can catch you next week. Peace.